Hey, tonight I'm gonna talk about like some Mandela effects. So I've got like a whole bunch of like really random stuff. Some of these are Mandela effects that probably have been mentioned before, and some of these I haven't heard mentioned anywhere. So I'm just gonna get into it. The first one I'm going to go into is JFK and his back brace. Okay, on old Earth, JFK never had a back brace. JFK and his older brother both served. They both went to war. The one that was supposed to be president was the older brother, but he was killed during the war. So JFK's grandfather on the maternal side, Honey Fitz, thought that would be the best replacement and that he would be the one, you know what I mean, the one that could step up to the plate and fulfill the political aspirations of the family, which at the time were really daunting because they'd never had like an Irish Catholic president. It was just unheard of up to that point, but he won. I mean, he didn't live through it, but he still got in there, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, a whole bunch of people from Old Earth are like he had a back brace. When did he have a back brace? Because like in this reality, he was playing football and he injured his back. He got this back brace, and I'm like, no, we've never ever heard that story. He didn't have the back brace. It's just he got shot in the back of the neck first on Old Earth, and he like drowned in his own blood. He couldn't bend over on time to get his head out of the way, and he was shot then again in the head and killed. But here the story is like he had this football injury and he had this back brace on, so he couldn't bend over to save himself. There's a lot like of JFK Mandela effects, like the car keeps changing and the amount of people in the car keeps changing, color of the car keeps changing. They're trying to blame Jackie for it now. Like this is some crazy Mandela effect that I've never seen before. They're trying to blame Jackie Kennedy for what went down, and that's really freaking low. Because they know anyone on Old Earth, it sure as heck wasn't her. Oh boy. Okay. All of that aside, let's move on to the next one. Really quickly, the human heart keeps changing position for me. It's going from the center. Oh, these are a little graphic. I'm sorry. I wanted more like a picture like this. Right now it's in the center pointing left. Sometimes it's in the center pointing straight down, and sometimes it's like entirely on the left. So for the past couple of weeks for me, it's been in the center pointing left. That's something I just keep a watch on because it changes on the regular for me. This is one I haven't heard anybody mention. Madeleine McCann. She was a little girl that went missing in Portugal. And she went missing, she was 3 years old, she'll be like 13 now. And it was like a really heartbreaking story. But like some people have noticed changes in Madeleine herself. But a strange Mandela effect that happened to me, like a shift and then a shift back, was her younger siblings, the twins. At one point, the twins were a girl and a boy, which they are again now. And then there was a shift and they were both boys for a while. And then it went back to being a boy and a girl. So I was like, when they were both boys for a minute, I was completely struck because I knew that one of them was a boy and a girl. I'd seen documentaries about this tragic case, and I was like, they have, you know, they've lost their little daughter, but they have a daughter left. And then when the twins turned into both boys, I was like, oh my gosh, now they have neither daughter. And then it shifted back, and now it's like a little boy and a little girl again. Unfortunately, Madeleine McCann was never found. Charles Manson is dead on Old Earth. I remember the posts going all around Facebook about his death. And I remember people leaving some really freaking nasty comments about it. It happened, I would say August, because it got pretty much drowned out by the election, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't August 2016. I should have like made that a little clearer. So I was like, oh shiz, he's dead, whatever. And then I saw like a post a couple of weeks ago that he was being moved to a different prison. So, Charles Manson proves he's alive and well in creepy new prison photos. Yeah, he's alive and well. Which is a little surprising to those of us that heard that he died, but there you go. Next one is the very interesting Rainbow Hills in China. This is a newer Mandela effect, at least for me. I'm not sure exactly what kind of like chemical oxidization or what exactly could happen. You know, like when copper oxidizes, it'll change color, which like could explain the greens in it. But this is like very spectacular and fantastical to be an accidental occurrence. This is pretty darn cool. I would definitely say it's a little bit of a hint from God that things are going on. People gotta wake up when they start seeing like rainbow hills and rainbow trees. When I first saw this, I was like, that tree is spray painted, there's no way, but there's an actual tree, the rainbow eucalyptus, rainbow gum tree, that when it sheds its bark, it's got all these colors in it. So rainbow trees and rainbow hills are around. It's very, very D12, blue and yellow, purple hills, except for real. So I hope people are waking up to that one. One I personally experienced was the Target symbol. I remember going into Target and the dot was the same size as the dot here. So they've gotten this wrong. But there's two red rings instead of one. And when I first saw that there was only one red ring on the Target symbol, beg pardon, I just figured that they had changed their copyrights or they had changed their logos. Like when I see things on like products and shops and things, you know, stores, I'm kind of like, oh, well, that's just their marketing team wants to change things up. But no, it's like when you look into what is their logo and how long have they had it, when it's a Mandela effect, it'll have changed, but the history will reflect that it's always been this way. So yeah, it doesn't look like a bullseye like this. Like I said, it has the same size center with two smaller rings. So that's changed around. And then the other one that I personally experienced is the traffic lights on Old Earth. The green is on top. Green light on top, red light on the bottom. That's not the way here. And unfortunately, like I was talking to somebody very close to me and it was like the tip off to let me know that we were from two different places, because he said when he was learning to drive, it was easy, red on top, green on bottom. And I was like, oh no, you're from here, not from there. It just got turned upside down. I mean, I guess it's the same if you're a new earther who ends up on Old Earth, it's upside down to you. Old Earther that ends up here, it's upside down to us. It hasn't really affected me like that badly. I can still tell like the color red and the color green, so it hasn't messed up my life, but it's like definitely a clear indicator to me because I've seen these things absolutely all my life and I know the green is on top and the red's on the bottom. And that's all, folks.